So I wanted to do a video. Someone asked me to elaborate on what I said by existing in the world, but not fully participating in it, and what I meant by that. So when I went through my awakening like 6 years ago, I was thrust into a world where I saw the truth of reality. I saw the spirits. I saw spirits possessing people. I saw the veil. I saw like my own mind, and it's like my own mind was open up to me, and I saw like the entities in my own mind and where like how they were not me, and it was like I literally woke up and I looked around at my apartment and my life and my friend groups, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like I like realized that all of these things that I had been doing were not me. And I knew, like, it was weird. I like prior, I would observe my own character, right? And I knew when I was younger, at some point I would go through this awakening process, but I didn't really know what it was, because what I learned with life is like before something big happens, you usually kind of know it's coming. Like you can feel like spirit doesn't just throw it at you. Like there are always like signs. And so when you finally go through that big aha moment, you can look back on your life and be like, oh, these were all the signs that were preparing me to be able to handle this truth that I'm being shown. So I basically was shown life for what it really is, but then I had to unprogram everything. And so it's been 6 years, and now I'm at a point where I'm literally I cannot have a conversation with a person and not incorporate spirituality. Like I cannot have a conversation and not incorporate truth. I cannot sit there and play into the facade of the illusion of small talk and lies of the world. And I also, every person I meet, I usually can read them. If I talk to someone longer than a few minutes, spirit tells me where their gaps are, where they're at in their journey. Like the more conversations I have with people, I can read them like a book. This is why I don't hang out with people. Like I love being around people, and I love working out, and I love community around working out and spirituality, and I love people that want to grow, and I love helping people, and I love learning. So I'm still like existing in life, but what I mean by not feeding the world for what it is like I'm not going to like dinners, I'm not drinking and going out and doing that stuff. Like I'm going to concerts now, but I'm not participating in the illusion of the facade of like, let's go get alcohol or let's go out to dinner before we go to the concert. Like all of that is a lie. Like it's not our true state. And so if you just think that you're just supposed to live life, then you're totally missing it. Because if you go and like read interviews and things of people who have built companies and they have all this money and all these houses and they have all this stuff, they are not fulfilled. And so you have to start to ask yourself, like, why are people not fulfilled? What is missing? Like I learned when I was younger, no matter how successful I was, no matter how much money I made, because I started making good money when I was very young, for what I thought. Like I've always been very independent. I've never relied on anyone for anything really. And I have a hard time asking people for help. And so I was always pretty self-sufficient. And so I learned when I was younger that like, no matter how much I did, I was never fulfilled. There was something missing. And so I was always seeking like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And finally I was shown the answer. So now I'm like, I realize like life, I've always known life was a game, but like it really is a game. Like we are literally in a simulated reality. And it's not just, creating and doing that kind of stuff. It's like you have to create in accordance to what God is asking you to do. So what I've learned is like, as I keep going up in the level of remembrance, I meet certain people that trigger these aspects of my ego. And one of the things I've learned is like, the trauma that is attached to people or to me, it's not our trauma, it's the collective program that we are basically experiencing things in life to basically unprogram this from the collective whole. So when you start to navigate your life without attaching to the trauma that you've experienced or the collective has experienced as a whole, and you acknowledge that it is a part of you in the sense that you have to observe it and breathe through it, and then your actions need to align away from what that trauma had generated in the first place. So for example, a lot of the sexual trauma people go through is because people have sex with people that are not aligned with their soul. And so you put yourself in sexual traumatic situations when you're a child or throughout your life because in previous times when you played the characters, or based off the volunteer character you decided to play in this life on your level of consciousness, you chose to go through those sexual traumatic situations so you could level up your soul and reprogram the game. Like, we are all programming, like, there are people playing life as architects where you are meant to reprogram life, like you are the director of life. And then there's people who have chosen to play the actors in the game, but they're not really the architects. So when I say I'm existing in the world but not in it, but I'm in it but I'm not in it, it's like I'm actually playing life from the level of an architect, meaning I am observing everything, knowing that I have the power to unprogram and reprogram the game in alignment with God. And I observe everyone and everything in that capacity. And if I meet someone that triggers a very emotional, like, strong response from me, I don't, like, I analyze it and I'm like playing it against myself. Like, the battle is in my own mind. And what I've learned helps me kind of get past the lesson faster is, like, if you are battling your own stuff in your mind, you can kind of go in loop circles. So what I've learned actually, like, lets you get through the lesson faster. And sorry, this is kind of like taking a turn, but this is how my videos go. That when you, like, verbalize to whoever is, when you start to verbalize truth to whoever is triggering you or creating a massive emotional response in you, you take your power back. So what I've learned is, like, by speaking truth in the game, you take back your sovereign power as a creator that we're not really here and we're in the spirit world, and then the illusion starts to dissolve. And one of the other things I've learned from, like, a level up standpoint is that you don't actually have to force change to change yourself. What you do is you start to bring awareness to the situation of the game or lesson that you're playing, and then you have to really tell yourself, like, this is not something I want anymore. I've learned the lesson. This is, like, what I've taken from it. And you talk to yourself, and it's good to talk to yourself out loud too, because you're not really talking to yourself, you're talking to the spirits around you. And so when you do that, what happens is over time, your energy frequency, when you change the actions of what you're consuming, will actually, you'll stop feeling the need to keep doing those actions, and your literal light being will shift, because you're basically like an avatar playing the game, and these spirits or programs are taking over you and drawing you to go towards whatever opportunity or action or things. So when you get the urge, sometimes you want to stop, and you should be like, who is this? Like, who is telling me to do blank? Because when you take a second and you stop, you'll realize, like, you're not always the one playing, right? And you can be, because you're the observer of the person playing. But you need to ask yourself, how are you really playing? And then the people that are interacting with you, how are they playing? And people who, like, drink caffeine or, drink alcohol or do drugs or whatever, like, you can't fully trust them, because you can feel their soul. But what's happening is they could still be taken over by entities and doing things and not being conscious of what they're doing. And I've tested this as of recently, because I was clean all the way through, and then I decided to go just drink caffeine to see, because I wanted to see how opposition, and it's so bad for us. Like, you lose all sense of control. It creates this massive, like, it heightens all of your emotions that you typically can't access. And I'm gonna have to do another video because I'm running out of time.